something I don't think that college football in the media and people don't talk about enough is roster structure. We hear about it in the NFL all the time. Oh, where you're out in this free agent, you look at the depth in this room. But a lot of it is recruiting and what star this kid is and what star that kid is. But when you look at the way to structure a roster, especially in a conference like you playing in the Big 12 that has depth, you've got to bring it, and it's a battle of attrition. Can you just talk about the importance of not losing too much at two, positions that marry each other, like left tackle and quarterback, and all the thoughts that go in to structuring the roster to just give yourself a chance to make it through the season?
Yeah, that I look at my roster every single day. When we get off of here, I'm going to pull up my spreadsheet and go through again because it's a mixture nowadays with the transfer portal, guys that you possibly could lose, guys that you could, add. And then you're, like you said, we recruited the fastest team, the fastest recruiting class in the nation. That's not me trying to make everybody feel good. It's on paper. It's in black and white. And so I think that's one of my biggest jobs is making sure that we have the roster right. We have good depth. And then I think one of the things that we do, I think we're very different than probably all of college football. We have a personnel department that literally that's all they do. They tell the coaches, here's who we're going to offer. Y'all go recruit them. It's really like built in an NFL model with that. James Blanchard is the head of that. He was an NFL scout. He was with me, with Matt Rule at Baylor. He was with Matt Rule with the Carolina Panthers. And we're looking for guys that have NFL traits. But whenever it comes to the transfer portal, we're looking for guys that have played football, like major snaps. If you do the numbers, if you played 250 snaps for whoever last year, you're probably going to be a backup for us. If you played 500 snaps for somebody last year, then you have a really good chance to be a starter for us. And so we're just not going out there and looking at guys that, came out of high school and maybe they were a 4 or 5 star guy and they hadn't played somewhere. Usually there's a reason they haven't played somewhere, and it's not because necessarily that roster was so loaded that they couldn't get on the field, and so whenever we bring guys in the transfer portal, we really want to make sure that they can step in and fill a need for us.
Yeah, well, I always say looking at the stars is just for astronauts. You got to be able to do both when you're a football coach. You got to be able to project. We called experience the unteachable intangible as well. When you look at the transfer portal now, you'd be crazy not to use it to get guys that are proven commodities that what you're getting. I know what I'm getting when I'm getting a guy from a transfer portal, and you got to project out of high school. But Coach, something and I've noticed, you've had success, wherever you've went, all the way from your high school days in Texas, with what you guys were able to do over there at Cedar and winning those championships, and then going to Baylor and turning that one around, and then now getting your shot at Texas Tech and beating Oklahoma and Texas last year. And some when I watched your games, and we have guys that are great schematically, right? You have guys that are great at projecting guys out of high school and recruiting. But I think something that you've added is it seems like your guys really love playing for you. And that's something you can't fake, even in recruiting. Nobody can spot a fake easier than a 17 and 18-year-old kid because they see it every day in high school. Can you talk about having to earn the players' trust and understanding what you're asking the players to go do for you, because it's a genuine relationship? I've been in that room. But isn't that the difference on 4th and 1, not just how much weight you can throw up?
Well, I love my guys. I'm about to do, and this is funny every time I say this, because, if you were hanging out with me drinking an adult beverage, you'd be like, okay, you're fixing to do your second wedding. But James Lockhart played for me. At Baylor, I was his position coach, and I'm doing his wedding in July. I did Sam Tecklenburg's wedding a couple years ago. He played for me at Baylor. I'm actually doing Tyler Shuck's wedding next April. It's just, man, I love my guys, man. I care about them. I care about them on and off the field. They see the real guy every day. My guys are going to tell you, they're going to get the same dude. When they walk in the building, I'm the most excited to see them. I'm also going to be the hardest on them. I'm gonna be extremely demanding, but they know I'm like that because of how much I care about them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think in the world that we live in today, in the transfer portal, it's important. You know, Matt Rule told me, he's one of my mentors, and I say his name a lot, but he said, if you show these guys that you care about them and you're developing them and they're becoming better players, maybe they're not playing as much as what they want, but they see improvement, then they're going to stay in your program and you can keep growing that. So I think it's important, you know, and I think it's the same way. It's easy for us to say this day and age, but whenever I was 18, man, I wanted to make sure my coaches cared about me because, you know, football's tough. Being a student athlete's tough. I mean, fall camp and they're in fall, y'all know it's a full-time job.
For sure.
You know, and so you better enjoy the locker room and the office and the environment that you're around. And so that's important. You know, it's crazy you say that. I sent a text this morning to a young man that's not coming to us. And you know, it's a transfer. And I said, hey, look, you don't know me, but I do love my players and I care about them. And I said, I'm just hoping that you're making the right decision because right now, man, it's going to be more and more because you're going to have more and more data. But there's a lot of guys that are leaving programs. They're catching 60-something balls, and they go to another program and they catch 8 last year, and they totally destroy their roster. I mean, their career. And so we'll see more and more of that because there's people just stockpiling depth versus, you know, they come in and they promise a kid a lot of stuff, and then it never happens.
Yeah. Well, the realness and the genuineness, I can see it on the field. Imagine the warm breeze on your face as you lounge in your favorite chair outside. The grill is sizzling with juicy burgers or steak. Man, this is making me hungry. It's 7:02. Fight it. The aroma of the food is irresistible, and you guys know your mouth's watering, waiting for it to be cooked to perfection. Now imagine having said all that, and you go to turn on the grill, and your propane tank is empty. Come on, Blaine.
Don't be that guy.
But with our friends at Cinch, they're coming in clutch. I'm talking about Kirk Gibson clutch. All right. If you don't know what Cinch is, they're a propane grill tank home delivery service. They deliver the tanks right to your door on your schedule and don't require any long-term commitment or subscription. Plus, delivery is completely contactless. You don't have to wait around at home, and you can track the order on the Cinch app everywhere. So, go to cinch.com, all right? And also Walcone's Coffin. That's cinch.com, CYNCH.com, or download the Cinch app and use our promo code BOOSTER, that's BOOSTER, to get your first tank exchange for just $10. That's CYNCH.com, promo code BOOSTER. It's a limited time offer, and you must live within a Cinch service area to redeem it. So hurry up and move if you have to. That's cinch.com/offer for details. Use that promo code BOOSTER, and you'll be dropping tanks.
Get it now. Coach, you touched a little bit on what I wanted to ask you about when you were talking about the relationship with the kids and how, you know, you want to coach them hard. The transfer portal now, the college game is so different than when I played because kids can leave at any moment. Now, when I shipped off to the University of Michigan from South Georgia, I wanted to quit every day for the first couple years. That's how hard it was, and it needed to be that hard, right? You're trying to like make a man out of a young kid. Given the time that you spent at the high school level and getting to know these kids in Texas and now at the college level, is it harder to coach kids hard the way they need to be coached so you can get the most out of them without them turning around and quitting at the first moment because the transfer portal is really always open?
Well, I would say there's a lot of truth to that in a lot of areas. But what's crazy, you know, I started my 29th year this spring. You know, I started in spring 29 years ago. So, and I'm not any different, man. I mean, you know, I really not. I coach them hard because, again, I think if you go back and they understand what you're trying to get out of them, you spend more time than just on the field. You really develop the relationships. Then I think you can coach them hard. You can be extremely demanding. And the good thing, I think, our coaches understand that. And then I think I'm the final buffer between somebody that, you know, is quitting or possibly, you know, walks away and is like, you know, this is too hard, and being able to explain to them our brand is and I got this from Matt Rule. we're the toughest, hardest working, most competitive team in the country. And I always tell everybody, there's people that have high pain tolerance, but that doesn't mean you're tough.
Yeah.
You could be weak as all get out between the ears and be mentally weak. And so the only way I know how to be tough is to do tough things, like you did whenever you went from South Georgia to Michigan. I mean, you had to become tougher and do tough things. And so we talk about that. That's the one thing too, guys. Man, there's no conversations behind backs and everything. We're as real as it gets. We're as upfront as it gets. We're talking about it every single day. We're explaining to our guys why. I think that's one thing that's changed the most is explaining why. I did it because my dad told me to and my coach told me to.
That's exactly right.
I just did that. I'm sure you did the same. That's just how it was. That's not how it is now, and so I'm not scared whenever a player asks me why. I mean, I actually had a coach say to one of his defensive linemen, "Hey, don't ask your head coach why." And I said, "No, I'm not scared to tell him why. I want them to know why, because I want them to challenge me, because I'm going to challenge them, whenever it comes to what we're trying to do and where we're trying to get them to go."
Yeah. No doubt.
All right, love it, Coach. We're going to get in the Booster Club here. We got some Tech fans obviously in here. Texas Eddie wants to know, can you explain a little bit how the environment is playing in Lubbock and how it causes so many issues for the other teams?
Well, if you want to see some fire, just say something on Twitter negative about Texas Tech. All it does is to break loose, guys. Just anything. I mean, I know y'all probably saw it. He's a great friend of mine. I've known him forever, but last year TCU threw out a little thing that we're the desert, and the next thing you know, everybody's got an emoji of the cactus and all kinds of stuff. And so, one, I think you have you have a passionate fan base. You have a very large alumni and a large fan base. West Texas people, man, they've got a chip on their shoulder and they're tough, and they kind of they like that. They want that. And whenever you come into this environment, number one, there's a chance that the wind's blowing a little bit. There's a chance if it's a late November game that's going to be a little cold. If it's an early September game, there's a chance it's going to be hot. And, man, they just embrace it. And there's going to be 60,000 fans that are just going to be going absolutely crazy, going toward this and, getting really excited. I thought early in the season, we're driving against Texas. And Zach Goodley, who's a West Texas kid who has grown up out here, who graduated from Texas Tech, turns to me as he just called a play and he goes, "Coach, I've never heard it this loud in my life." And, we've got some fired up people right now, and they should be. Our guys worked really hard to get them excited about the football season.
For sure. Especially the way y'all ended the season with 4 straight wins. We're going to go to Laura Brown, biggest Texas Tech fan in here. Question for you is, do you have a pick for a player to have a breakout season coming up?
Well, I'll start with guys that played last year a little bit. I think Cameron Valdez, our running back. Taj Brooks is our leader in that room. But I think there's such a difference in their running style that's going to be really tough for defenses to, have that 1-2 punch. So I'm excited for Cam Brooks. And then a kid that we got last year in January, he was a transfer from Syracuse, Steve Linton. He's an absolute freak. I think he fits perfect in the Tim DeRuyter scheme. I think, off that edge, he plays our boundary outside backer. Very athletic. I think those two guys, just off the top of my head, are going to have really big years for us.
Coach, I did want to ask you just a couple. I know you're a busy man. Y'all got a lot to do. Tyler Shuck, the quarterback in your guys, what he was able to do last year and with the momentum y'all had to end the season and the style you guys run. It's a fun style to run if you're an offensive player. I know why you guys are recruiting that speed, because y'all go fast in general. But can you talk about his leadership and now having expectations? I mean, you beat Texas. You beat Oklahoma, which is humongous in any brand, but especially at Texas Tech. Can you talk about, your guys handling those expectations and how much have y'all talked about understanding that while we're still the hunter, we're a little bit of the hunted now as well?
Well, this is kind of how we got this hooked up, and I run my social media. That's me retweeting and tweeting everything and jumping into different DMs on people that I see. And so I've seen a lot of people talk about quarterback rooms, and they're not talked about, and that's fine. We'll play with a chip on our shoulder, but if you're not talking about Texas Tech's quarterback room, you're absolutely crazy.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on.
Playing on Sunday. Both of our quarterbacks will play on Sunday. And the thing is both of them have won games in Power 5 football. It's not potential. It's not stars. It is two dudes that have gone out and played at an extremely high level. Tyler Shuck and Barry Morton. Our team absolutely loves those guys. It's not one of those that, you could see the favor of the other. They love those guys. And so, man, I'm excited about both those guys. Tyler's got, one of those deals where he's been hurt the last 2 years. And so, can he stay healthy? Can he, he's put in the work. He looks really good. He's 232 pounds. You can see, that he's put, the weight on in the shoulders to where he's broken his collarbone the last 2 years. So it's, hopefully helping that. But he feels great. He had a great spring. I mean, he had a phenomenal spring. Barron had a phenomenal spring. So we feel good about those guys. But you said a word that I absolutely love. Now, my favorite word is opportunity. Love the word choice, but my top 5 words probably is expectation. I love the expectation because that means that you did something to get to that point. I hate the word potential. I love the word expectation because the people start believing it. Hey, you did something and now we expect it. So we talk about it. I think I'm a PowerPoint guru, guys.
You got to nowadays in coaching.
It is. And so I started my first PowerPoint yesterday and for our team meeting on May 29th, and it has words like assume. It has words complacent. It has a statement of like everybody's going to pat us on the back. And we haven't done anything. That was the 2022 team. A famous coach that coached here for a long time has a speech in a locker room that talks about, that was Crabtree making those plays. That's what it is. And so it's my job, to make sure those guys understand that this is a brand new team and there are a lot of expectations, but we welcome those because, we want to be in those conversations. We want, people to understand that we have a good football team and we're going to go out and play really hard for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, well, you guys are fast, physical, and unafraid, and you have those 3 things. You can go out there and get after somebody. Coach, thanks so much, man. I know it's always a busy time for you guys as we're ramping up toward yet another season. You know how much respect I have for you and what you guys are doing out there, and I really appreciate you taking some time this morning.
I appreciate you guys. Always here, man. Anytime y'all need me, just shoot me a text or anything like that. I'm on, man. I appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Well, good luck. Y'all go out and handle business. Texas Tech fans, y'all ready? Y'all got a real one at the helm. Y'all better buckle up and enjoy the ride. Thanks, Coach McGuire.
See you, Coach.
Welcome.
Hey, YouTubers, appreciate you checking us out. If you don't know already, we do a morning sports show from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. Check it out. We have live calls, great guests, a live chat, and a ton of fun. Make sure you check that out from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern every weekday morning.